Hello, everybody, and welcome back to All Things Football. Now, we're going into an international break, which means that we're not going to be doing a preview. We're not going to be doing a review of the match against Everton, which ended 1-1. But I guess as a result of that match, we're going to be doing an in-depth analysis on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the team, the players, the backroom staff, everything about his setup and how he runs the club, I guess, not just the team, but the club. I'm going to say this now. I know I said on the last episode I'm Ole in, but I'm getting ever so closer to Ole out and my emotions are high. I personally didn't watch the match because I was playing my own football match, but I watched the highlights. I watched the replay of the game and pushing me over the edge. I know Ibs is already Ole out and he's backed out the turtleneck today because he's taking it seriously. He's got his little whiteboard as well. I mean,
got the whiteboard and pen ready to get into the in-depth analysis.
This really, really should. I didn't really want to have to be doing an episode like this so early on in the season, in all honesty, but we're here and we've been driven here by a certain man who manages our club, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now I'm going to ask
Club
you
legend.
again.
Club
I want to ask you
legend.
again. Look, you're still Ole out.
Yes. Wait. Good evening, Big Ron.
Yes, Ron. I love when everyone comes. I got to ask you one question, and it's a yes or no answer. You're Ole out now. Is there any way that before Christmas your mind could be changed and you could become an Ole inner?
Yes. If he wins every game. Well, obviously that's not realistic, but there's no chance because I know it's not going to happen. It's
no. It's what I wear to work.
No, I'm just wearing this because I need to be formal. Need to know that we're here to express our opinions, and there's so much to let off our chest right now.
We're here for a good time. We're here to entertain you guys, but this is a serious show today. And I hope that you enjoy it, and we'll take any input as well that you have. We want all of your opinions today. Sancho, bias, not, I don't care. We need all of your opinions today, Big Ron. I'm excited for this episode.
No, but you mentioned that if someone had a date. Yeah, I had a date with this girl, the girl I met at Old Trafford. No, I'm joking. But I wrote her this poem. This is the poem I wrote her. Manchester is red. London is blue. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might win a game or two. Not win, might lose a game or two. When the pressure turns up, he gets all of this luck. And he's got us all thinking, what? McFred in midfield and Ronaldo up top. Surely this guy has lost the plot. And then that's when the day ended. We just went to the hotel.
This guy had no idea he was going to say that. I didn't know he wrote a poem.
No, I wrote this poem because this is the start of the show. We're finally going to get into the show. Wait. Finally, some appraisal for Everton. For Sancho.
Oh, and
he
for
did play
Everton
well
as well.
Everton. Okay, where do we start though? Where do we start on Ole? We've got so many pointers. Identity. The identity of the club. Of the team.
What do you think? Do you think we're going to go... I reckon we'll go off this... I reckon we'll go from this episode like in comparison to the teams that we want to be competing with. Because it's going to be so easy to be like, we're Manchester United. We need to be playing like this. That when Sir Alex Ferguson was here 10 years ago, 20 years ago, football was different back then. We're in the now. We want Ole to be good now. We don't want Ole to be good 10 years ago. We want it to be good now. So the teams that really and truly, as much as I hate to say it, the teams that we aspire to be playing like, the teams that we aspire to be competing with and the teams that we want to beat to the title: Chelsea, Manchester City, and Liverpool. So I would say, maybe as a little disclaimer, at least what I say is going to be in comparison to Klopp, Tuchel, and Guardiola. Not too sure about Ibs. He might have a different point of
For
view.
me, yes, I might be Ollie out, but how I'm going to express my opinions are, yes, I'll say the negative stuff, but I will also still highlight the positives, because don't get me wrong, there are many positives that Ollie has brought to the club. And in terms of identity, as Anton says, we don't necessarily have an identity within the team. Yes, you can say Ollie is building the identity, and it's going to take time to build something, because obviously we've lost it for how many years now? Almost 8 years. 8 years since we last won a title.
No, a big title.
Yeah, the Premier League. So that one is a bit hard to say, because he's only started the rebuild kind of thing. But at the same time, with the team we have, surely we need to know what our team is about. We should know what our team is about. Last season came second. How did we come second? We don't really know. Maybe it's moments. People call us Moments FC. Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, players like that just having moments. But identity, we just don't know the identity of the club.
And I think that's the biggest problem. I think might be weird to say, but if we had an identity and it was even if we were playing like Burnley, but we knew what we were going to do, I think you wouldn't be as disappointed as going into a match and just not knowing how you're even going to play today. You go into a it's just a comment from Ole and Solskjaer. I've got to admit, Ole needs to be out because he's been the worst manager of Manchester. That's the thing. He hasn't. He just hasn't. Like, there is... we don't have an identity. It's emotional. It's an emotional roller coaster watching Manchester United play, because we go into a match against Everton, who are without Calvert-Lewin. I don't think Richarlison was playing, and Andre Gomez. Some of their better players. We go into that match. I went into it thinking, yeah, we're going to probably win 2 or 3 now. At least we're going to have to bounce back, put in a good performance after the terrible performance against Villarreal, in which we obviously won. But I thought, yeah, we're going to probably win by 2 or 3 goals. And then we played just disastrous football, and it's a repeat of every single... it's not even like when we play bad, it's players are just not having a good day. That's what it used to be like. And it was a bit more understandable. But now it's the players are actually trying. They're running around. They're putting the effort in. But what they're doing, the runs that they're making, the runs that get set up are a result of the training that happens at Carrington. And that's what people need to realize. And when those don't work, and you try over and over again, and then eventually your whole identity on the day is not there, that's when it gets confusing and frustrating. And that's why, like that comment says right there, Ole has been the worst manager of Manchester United ever. And it's things like that. He's not the worst Manchester United manager ever. And I'll back that fully, because he's brought me to a place where I can at least go into every match thinking that we're going to win. I can at least think, yeah, we're probably going to compete for the title this season. We're going to win a trophy. I know we haven't, and I know we haven't won it for a while. And I know we lose a bit. And I say a bit because we don't actually lose a lot. But I have the confidence that we're going to win. It's just the confidence doesn't get backed up, and the confidence that I have in the team brings me to a dark, dark place when we lose, because it's like, what is even the point? I should have seen that coming, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Clubs, when we play against teams, now they know that we don't have an identity. In the past, Sir Alex Ferguson, they know what Man United is going to be about. They know about Old Trafford. They're fearful to come to Old Trafford. Now, Old Trafford's not the same anymore. People come and they play their game at Old Trafford. They don't have to change their game or necessarily change their game to play us. They bring their game to Old Trafford, and their game will work, because we don't necessarily have our identity. And yeah, if we move on to the next point about attacking and defending as a unit, and this, I can say that we'll start this from the attacking perspective. Anton, did you want to share the screen or?
Oh, I have defensive pictures, not attacking ones.
Okay, so if we start from attacking, obviously we have. Actually, I'll quickly show you this, which is the. Let's just say this is Solskjaer's probably default. You can't see it. Probably default
I can see.
lineup. Let's just say that's his default lineup right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rashford potentially is going to come back, but this is the default lineup. McFred, of course, in midfield, and the attack obviously Ronaldo, Greenwood, Pogba, Bruno. And for defending as a unit, it starts from Ronaldo up top.
Yeah.
We all know Ronaldo is not like Cavani. He's not going to press. And then that's the problem. He's not going to press. But then do the players around him know how to press without him? Obviously, Ronaldo's just joined. Give Solskjaer some leniency there because he still needs to build a team around Ronaldo and identify how we can press, because obviously Ronaldo is not going to press as highly as everyone else. So, but even when Ronaldo wasn't there was no cohesive pressure. For example, like Klopp and Liverpool, as you said, you want to compare to those kind of teams.
Look, I think what you just said, Ronaldo's not going to press. We didn't get Ronaldo and expect him to be the high-flying winger that he was, or have the same amount of energy that he had when he was even at Real Madrid or when he was with us. We knew that he was going to be a player that you have to give the ball. It's Ronaldo. You make exceptions. If you brought in someone that wasn't as proven or a younger person and they were doing all of that, they'd get dropped. They'd get a lot more stick. But that's Ronaldo. That's what we should have expected. If you watch football, if you know anything about him, that's what you need to expect. But where I think we go wrong is that the players around him aren't players that are going to bust a gut and press, and when they're on the ball, have quality. And I say that last bit because everyone would just be like, well, you have McFred, you have McTominay and Freddie were both going to press. But there's a difference between aimless running, being poor defensively, which means giving away cheap fouls, not actually getting the ball back, just pressing for nothing. I'm seeing Fred get barged off the pitch by Demarai Gray. Fred's a central midfielder. Doesn't matter how big you are. If you're smaller, first of all, you should have a lower center of gravity. You shouldn't be getting barged off the ball. You shouldn't be losing your balance like that. But as a central midfielder, you should be more powerful than the other players because you have to dominate that game. Fred's getting barged off the pitch by a slim winger. When I saw that in the lead up to the goal, this was on the lead up to the goal, by the way. When I saw that, fuming, because it's just not something that should happen. But when you need to have warriors, and I'm going to steal this from Mark Goldbridge. Thank you very much, Mark Goldbridge. But you have to have warriors or soldiers around your generals. Bruno Fernandes is a general. Cristiano Ronaldo is a general. You could say Pogba is a general. Around those three players mainly, you need to have someone like a Ji-Sung Park or a Darren Fletcher, or Manchester City have Fernandinho, they have Rodri, Gundogan, Chelsea have Kante, Jorginho, even Havertz. Liverpool have pretty much the whole team because they're just a different type of squad. You look at Basuma, Pascal Gross. I can go through every Premier League team and name the soldiers. Our soldiers are terrible. Terrible. I think that
they're just not willing to do stuff for the team. Like Fred could have easily fouled him.
Yeah,
even in the last game against Aston Villa, I think it was, he could have just fouled someone. That's just tactics. You need to do that in that situation, but he's just getting, as you said, barged off the ball.
And I think that's where football intelligence lacks a little bit, because if you go to the shared screen now, this is as a result of Fred's weakness on the ball, lack of aggression, we've left ourselves in a position where, well, this is Fred here, where my mouse, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but that's where Fred is. Luke Shaw, because Demarai Gray's got the ball and he's giving it to Doucouré, which shouldn't have happened. Luke Shaw's vacated his position here, which is where he was running anyway, to try and get the ball from Doucouré, but obviously he's not tackled him, and now we have a player out of position. Varane's made up, to be fair, about 10 or 15 yards on Townsend. Varane's out of this. He's not at fault. But because of Fred's weakness, maybe he's being naive, not wanting to give a foul away on the counter-attack, might get booked, maybe he's scared of getting booked. Whatever the reason is, because of his inability to get the ball and Luke Shaw's need to have to cover that and try and get the ball because Fred didn't get it, we've left ourselves in a massive, basically, poo. We've left ourselves in a mess. Andros Townsend's obviously got the ball and gonna scored, but that isn't the only time that's happened, by the way.
Wait, quickly staying on this, Bruno Fernandes in his interview was saying, "Oh, this is his fault because he took a poor corner, which led to the counter attack." But how poor corner, shouldn't necessarily lead to them scoring a goal, because we should have the bodies back. Usually, if it's one striker up, staying up, you might, I don't know, professional levels, probably they can handle 1v1s or they'll double up 2v1. So at least you have two defenders and one attacker. There's no way that they should be scoring. But obviously, in this instance, poor corner, Fred obviously didn't put a challenge in and they've gone and scored a goal.
And I'll say now, Bruno Fernandes was captain on the day. Obviously, Maguire's not there. He's out injured. That's Bruno Fernandes being selfless. Bruno will know for a fact, poor corner or not, take out Varane, you still have 4 against 2, and now you have 4 against 3. 4 against 2 or 4 against 3, the defending team should always come out on top because you have a spare man. You can pass people over. You can cover passing angles. You can cover passing lanes. You can do everything there. Bruno Fernandes is not at fault for this goal. It's on Fred. You could say it's on Luke Shaw for abandoning his position. But, I mean, maybe I'll do the same thing. If I saw Doucouré running with the ball at my back line, at Lindelof, by the way, who isn't as good as Varane. If Lindelof and Varane were in a different position, maybe the result would have been different. But I don't really blame Luke Shaw for coming across there and trying to tackle Abdoulaye Doucouré, but it's not Bruno Fernandes' fault in the slightest. He's taking the blame as a captain and putting it on his shoulders because he knows what I know, and he knows that somebody else is at fault, and that somebody else is Federico Rodriguez.
Big Ron says an opposition will create a chance or chances and they'll score. What was disappointing was that we never really manufactured a decent chance after that. And yeah, this is obviously, people are going to be wondering, we're pointing out Fred, what has this got to do with Ollie? Obviously, Ollie consistently chooses Fred in that midfield, despite him having bad performances in the Premier League. He's always picked to play in that role. And again, it was seen when we played Everton. Mistakes, bad touches. I was at the game. When I saw Fred just get barged off the ball by Demarai Gray, I just laughed. And I knew Townsend was going to score, and this was on Fred. It's just becoming comical with Fred.
And it's comical because, have you heard? I don't know if you've heard, but Carrick and McKenna are teaching Fred and McTominay to have the discipline to operate in the defensive midfield role. I know that must be a joke. It has to be a joke. Yeah, Fred's 28. McTominay's, I think, 25 or almost 25 in a few weeks. And you're teaching them now, only just starting now, by the way, how to play the defensive midfield role. What's happening? What's happening at my club?
Yeah. Well, yeah, on to the next picture.
The next picture relates to this picture because what we have here is almost exactly the same situation. All of these resulted in goals, by the way. Counter-attack from a corner. The shape there is better, by the way, but it's the same result. I don't think we're not. Look, we brought in Eric Ramsey, a set piece coach to, I guess, decrease the amount of set pieces we concede and increase the amount of set pieces we score from. To an extent, it's working because we're not conceding directly from corners or free kicks like we were last season. But for whatever reason, we're leaving ourselves in these positions. And I can't understand why we're leaving ourselves in these positions. Again, in this frame here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Manchester United players against 3.5. I mean, I think that's John Joe Shelby. I'm not 100% sure. But we really should be dealing with this. I just don't think... I don't think these players are mean enough. Look at Fernandinho at Manchester City. Look at Fabinho at Liverpool. I've seen a clip of... we played Liverpool at Anfield a couple of years ago. Fabinho absolutely could have left Dan James concussed. Do you know what the clip I'm talking about when he like uses his body and Dan James flops on the like. None of our players would do that, and I think that just comes from their personality. We're talking about professional football players from Manchester United who seem to almost be too scared to put in a foul and possibly get booked. All of these situations could have been avoided if Fred fouled, not even fouled, if Fred was just a bit stronger with Demarai Gray. It's like he didn't expect it. You got Luke Shaw here. Again, I don't really think is at fault. Almiron is a very fast player. Wan-Bissaka couldn't keep up with him. Luke Shaw couldn't keep up with him, and he managed to find and Saint-Maximin, and then Saint-Maximin, I think, managed to find. Is that Jacob Murphy?
Yeah, no, it's not. But he overlapped, obviously.
Yeah, and
Saint-Maximin got the goal.
And it really annoys me because when we take corners and free kicks high up on the opposition, you can almost sense something is going to happen. We get beaten on the counter so often now, and it's becoming a recurring thing that wasn't happening last season. And it's you take one step forward, that step forward being we don't concede directly from set pieces, or we score a couple more goals from set pieces, and we take 10 million steps backwards. We're not conceding from set pieces, but we're conceding from our own set pieces now. It's like you give one for another.
As you said, we're now being counter-attacked. Teams find it so easy to just play through us and get into our final third. That Villarreal game, it was so easy for them just to get the ball in our final third and they get a shot off on goal. And we went from last season. Was it last season where we're playing counter-attacking football?
Yeah.
Mainly, yeah. So we've gone from going counter-attacking to now having most of the possession, but then now we're being counter-attacked and we're not really converting or creating that many chances despite having the majority of the ball. Everton, as Big Ron says, had 28% possession and had just as many attempts on goal as us. That says everything. And he's mentioning this clip. Have you noticed how every Man United player in those photos only has eyes for the ball?
Yeah, and I think that goes down to the training that they receive. I'm getting myself annoyed. I think it goes down to the training they receive because I've played football. I would like to think I have enough awareness. I'm not a professional footballer, so maybe I don't. Maybe that's why I didn't make it. But I like to think I have some sort of awareness. But Ron's right. Not one player is looking at these two here. They're running on the blind side. Maybe they might not even know that they're there, but you're thinking in your head, you're running back. What is Almiron looking at? Maybe I should look over there as well because they can't. 5 of these can't. There's no communication. These two here, Maguire and Matic, I think that is, should be the ones telling these 3 here, look, Varane, you need to drop off a little bit. You need to maybe, well, I don't know how even I'll say it, bend your run to the right a little bit because there's going to be a pass that might be played through in a second or so. So you say Varane, right shoulder. That's what you would say. And then you say, can you just click on Idris Milik, his comment there? Situation like this happened, Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. I think it was Federico Valverde that took out Alvaro Morata. He got himself sent off. It was in this position. He got himself sent off. But he said in like a press conference afterwards that Ramos said, kill that mother, whatever. Which links directly into this comment. You need someone like Ramos or Van Dijk that make tackles to no matter what. And that's what we don't have. And that goes down to having a personality in that team. Maguire's the captain. Ramos is the captain. Van Dijk is a captain. I don't think Maguire tells Aaron Wan-Bissaka to get that ball no matter what. Maybe it's, if I can't get the ball, I'm just going to let someone else try and get it. And we see it all over the pitch. We see it not just with Manchester United, but other teams as well. It's like when a cross comes in, you have to do everything to block that cross. Look at someone like Andy Robertson. Will throw himself front the ball to block that cross. Van Dijk will do exactly the same thing. Luke Shaw, I've seen him jog over to, let me just see how good this cross from Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to be. And then we concede. We just don't have the personalities in that team to throw yourself in front of that ball. I think Varane is someone, and we saw Telles. I know Telles is, because against Villarreal, he threw himself in front of the ball twice when I think
to block the shot.
Yeah, to block the shot. And we don't have in this picture here, nobody in that picture, maybe apart from Varane, is like that. And I think these are the reasons why we're conceding. Poor tactics. So we're not ready for the counter-attack. It's like we don't know what to do. It's like we haven't actually been trained on how to stop counterattacks. As well as that, we have people that aren't brave enough. They're not strong enough. They think, oh, I might get hurt here, or I don't want to give away a foul. You just do it. Just block the ball, block the pass, take the man out. When you go get the ball, take the man as well. I just think it's so simple, the things that we're not doing, which is why it's so infuriating.
Did you have another picture?
I did have another one. Yes.
This was the
Villarreal game.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, this game, literally, it was so easy for them to literally pass through our team. I don't know. Potentially, this game, it seemed like McTominay was playing CDM by himself.
Yeah.
He was playing in that 6 role by himself. He had Bruno and Pogba in the number 8 position, because Bruno was not necessarily as a central number 10. He was more of an 8 on the right-hand side, and Pogba was more as on the left-hand side. And obviously, we had Sancho, Ronaldo, and Greenwood. But yeah, it didn't seem to work. McTominay as a 6 by himself. Villarreal passed the ball through us easily, broke the lines. Dalot exposed. We really should have been beaten that game.
We were lucky.
As I said, Oli he just has so much luck. Ronaldo, when you have someone like Ronaldo in your team, inevitable that he'll score, but still we need to iron out these bad things, because we can't be conceding goals like this, especially if we go to the latter stages of the Champions League. Teams will literally exploit it and will finish their chances.
Yep. Ron's comment, and then we'll go to Idris's one. Are we noticing a pattern? Yes, there is a pattern. And it's the same thing, which is the thing that makes it even worse. If there was one picture, if it just happened against Newcastle once and it didn't happen again, cool, you can't talk about it because it might have just been a mistake or a lapse in concentration. 3 pictures. You have this one, which is literally identical, even with the 2 players behind the 3. Look, 3 players in a line. Not even a straight line, not even a line where you can possibly call an offside. But you have 3 players in a line with 2 players chasing back. 3 players in a line, 2 players chasing back. You would have had 3 players in the line here because Luke Shaw was here and then he came over to tackle the ball. 3 players in the line and 2 players chasing back, one just a little bit closer than the other times. But there is a pattern, and that's confusing me because there's pictures here which I'm looking at, you're looking at, Big Ron, Idris, they're both looking at. I've seen these on Twitter, so we're all looking at it. So what is Ollie? What is Eric Ramsey? What is McKenna? What are they not seeing? What are they not seeing? What are they not telling to these players? Because they obviously don't know it's happening. Otherwise, they would have done something about it. And if they do know it's happening and they haven't done anything about it, that's even worse. That just shows the level of incompetence that we have at the club and in the coaching staff. I think it's appalling. Obviously, we didn't concede from this.
This is where we did concede.
That is where we did. I just realized.
Dalot did try and reach out for the ball. He didn't get there.
It was a pass here.
I don't get, when he didn't get the ball, he could have thrown his body and blocked the cross potentially.
Yeah. Look, put Wan-Bissaka in that situation.
He will slide tackle all the time to try and block the cross.
You do anything, you get the ball by any means necessary. Dalot just extended his leg a little bit and and he did stay on his feet. He didn't want to break his stride. What I think he was trying to do was just intercept the ball and carry on, maybe pass it back, style it out. Wan-Bissaka is not a stylish player. We know that. Wan-Bissaka gets the ball by any means necessary. His legs are long. He has an advantage. He uses that to his advantage. He slide tackles. He throws himself to the floor to block crosses. Dalot there just literally sticks out a leg and carries on running like he didn't even try. And that's the thing. Personalities. Idris's comment there. If Mandzukic wasn't retired and played for United, you would maybe have a better chance with this game. He just runs into players for the team. Something to say about that. We have a few players in the squad. We have Cavani. We have Jesse Lingard. I think we have Van der Beek. But honestly, Haven't seen enough of him in a United shirt. We have Eric Bailly. These type of players will throw themselves on the line for the team. They'll put their head in front of the ball. John Terry did it. Lampard did it. Vidic, Ferdinand, Tony Adams, Solk. All of these legendary players are legendary for a reason because they're good at the basics. They're good at the not so basic stuff. They have star quality, but their base game is doing whatever they can to win, doing whatever they can to stop the other team from scoring. John Terry's lit for England, South Africa, 2010. Cannot remember who he's playing against. Someone's winding up a shot from just outside the area. John Terry tries to block it with his head. If that ball gets kicked at his head, you're looking at serious injuries. But he does it without thinking. Not one player in this Manchester United team does that. If they can't get it just by stretching out a leg or having a fancy little slide tackle, oh, too bad. They're just going to have a free shot. They're
it's like they're too cute, like to say. They don't want to. I don't know. It's like what's the word? How people describe Pogba? How he's more of a what's the word? There's luxury player. That's the word.
Yeah,
luxury players who don't want to do that kind of work.
And do you know what it is? I don't think that's just Man United. You know, I think that's the new generation of footballers. All these new generation of footballers are twinkle toes. Look at João Felix. All the promise in the world went to Atletico Madrid and he's still twinkle toes and he's stagnated.
Sancho.
Sancho. I will have to go in on Sancho this episode, man. Sancho's the same.
But then they don't want to get hurt.
They don't want to get hurt.
I saw in this game Sancho could have got the ball, but he just not strong enough in the tackle in the challenges. They're trying to just tap it around the player and get the ball, but you need to go into his challenge stronger. He needs to go into the challenge stronger because if he won that ball, we would have gone and scored the goal.
Even as a youngster, your coaches tell you don't dangle your foot into challenges because when you dangle your foot, that's when you get injured. You just have to go in for it or don't go in for it at all. And yeah,
as Idris says, no one wants to risk their playing time and make a brutal tackle.
No one's more important than the team.
I mean, this comment comes back to Ollie because he's obviously there's lots of competition in the team, many good players, but at the same time he's not utilizing the whole team effectively. You have your starting 11, but then put your good best team out. When we played Everton, did you see the lineup? De Gea, obviously, Wan-Bissaka, Shaw, Varane, Lindelof, McFred, and then we have Martial, Bruno, Greenwood, and Cavani. How can you go from Pogba, Ronaldo, maybe even Sancho, but how can you now change up your team that much and then expect everyone to be happy? What you should do is start with your best team. Man City, Liverpool, every single Premier League game, they start with their best team. And then they'll make the subs. Everyone knows their role. But people like Van der Beek doesn't know his role at the club. People like Martial doesn't know his role at the club because 1 week for 2 weeks he's on the bench and then 1 week he's starting the Prem. And then, as Idris says, people don't want to risk their playing time because they don't know when they're going to play again, when the next time they're going to play. And
I think in this team you have 6 guaranteed starters. You have Fernandes, guaranteed to start. Ronaldo isn't even a guaranteed starter. I thought he would be. Varane and Maguire, Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka. There you have 5. I don't even know about the keeper because Henderson's been injured, and either Fred or McTominay because more recently, one of them will always play, but they're not always playing together. So you have 6 guaranteed starters in that team. Again, Mark Goldbridge, I watch him a lot. He says a lot of very good stuff, and I'm going to repeat some of the things that he says. In the Premier League, that's the competition where you need the consistency. That's the competition where you need to establish yourself and you need to set ground rules for your teams. People need to know their role. In Europe, it's different. In the Cup, it's different. But you have to pick your best team in the Premier League. I can totally understand us going into the Champions League and putting Martial on the left or starting someone different. I can understand that. because it's a completely different outfit. You're in what, Belgium? You're playing football in Belgium or Spain or whatever. But when you're playing against Everton at Old Trafford, you have to start your best team. Ronaldo, it's Ronaldo. It's not Gonzalo Higuain. It's Ronaldo. Ronaldo is an athlete, one of the only athletes that I've ever seen keep himself in such perfect condition so that he can play all the Premier League games. You don't need to protect Ronaldo.
I
It's
saw
Ronaldo.
a clip of Khabib was at the Man United game and he spoke with Sir Alex Ferguson after the game,
Yeah.
and it was recorded. And Sir Alex Ferguson was mentioning about Ronaldo because obviously Khabib would have expected Ronaldo to start the game. They were talking about Ronaldo, and Sir Alex Ferguson says, "You start your best players. Ronaldo starts."
You do. And that's not just because it's, oh, I love Ronaldo because he's my son. It's because it's Ronaldo and he is our best striker. Why are you signing Ronaldo? Why is Ronaldo coming back to the club if you're not going to start him in the Premier League? Surely you sign Ronaldo to start him in the Premier League to get you them game-winning goals, get you them game-winning moments. Apparently not. Apparently before the international break, you need to rest him. Well, let's rest him for Portugal. Great.
Did you see the photo of the bench? Yeah, it was stacked. Pogba, Sancho, Lingard, Ronaldo, Matic, Van der Beek. The bench, yeah, we just mentioned that. Look at what Ramos did to Mo Salah in the UCL. Yes, anything to win the game. When you cross that white line and you step onto the pitch, it's you and your teammates battling. You're at battle against your opponents. You'll do whatever. Obviously, you might not condone what Ramos does sometimes, but you do whatever it takes to win that game. And I feel like Ronaldo, Varane, De Gea, those are the type of players who need to bring that out of everyone, because we have such a young team now. Greenwood, Sancho, Rashford. These players, they need someone who's going to bring that out of them so that we can have the best of the team. Do you think that Cavani should start with Ronaldo versus Leicester?
No.
There's no 4-4-2 is not going to work in this for our team. Yeah. I did have a thought about that, about having 4-4-2, but it can't work because in this day and age, we play with number 10s.
If Cavani starts with Ronaldo, then we don't have our best team out. Look, when we play against Leicester, is it the first match back after the international?
16th of October.
16th of October. I think Rashford is back. And
yeah, Rashford's back.
Let's be honest, guys. I think this team needs a bit of Rashford at the moment. He's the poster boy of Manchester United. Forget Ronaldo. In terms of Marcus Rashford's status, not even just in football, but outside of football. He is the poster boy of Manchester United. When Rashford comes back in, I believe the best front line we have is Rashford on the left, Ronaldo as a central striker, and Sancho on the right. Because Rashford works hard. Rashford presses. Sancho is very, very creative. He gets goals and he gets assists. And obviously, Ronaldo is Ronaldo. I believe that should be the starting lineup, the front three, if we play a 4-3-3 against Leicester, with Matic anchoring the midfield, Pogba to his left, and Bruno Fernandes to his right. That is what I believe to be the best team. And that's the team I think we should be playing in the Premier League every match. Even if Matic only plays in the Premier League 1 game a week, people are saying
he can do it.
Yeah,
surely.
People are saying he can't do 90 minutes. If that's the case, why is he playing? Sell him. If you can't play 90 minutes as a professional footballer, doesn't matter how old you are. If you can't play 90 minutes, leave, because then you're not helping us. Because it's not beneficial. Do you think?
Going back to this comment, I've just been writing it down. I don't know how this team would work with Cavani and Cavani and Ronaldo, because who plays if it's it can't be 4-4-2 because we need to play over 10, and that means it'll have to be 4-1-2-1-2. But who's a 2?
We've tried that narrow
wouldn't
formation. It was a famous game against Everton.
Would it be Van der Beek? But
well, ideally, yes. In an ideal world, it would be.
That's too many midfielders. There's no width. There's no that's the problem. That's why you can't necessarily play Cavani and Ronaldo, even though that on FIFA that would be great playing Cavani and Ronaldo, but in real life it can't work. 4-4-2, no, because Bruno and Pogba in midfield, no way that's not going to work. And you need Pogba on the pitch.
You know, at this point, I actually don't want to see Oli try and start with a new formation. I don't really want to see it.
We have to stay with this formation. So you were saying, Rashford. So did you say Rashford, Sancho, Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would go with. People obviously going to say Greenwood, but then Greenwood surely can come off the bench and replace Ronaldo or Sancho if he has to. And
you start with your best team, win the match, and then when you're comfortable, that's when you bring in the changes. And it's not even like the drop off in quality is going to be massive. Greenwood and for Sancho, you have someone who's yeah. I don't see how you go wrong with that. I would make it I personally would make it a 4-3-3. Have Rashford and Sancho higher.
Yeah, obviously, 4-3-3, yeah.
But then let me go back to what I was saying earlier. You have around Ronaldo who doesn't press, and fair enough because it's Ronaldo. You have Rashford who presses and Fernandes who presses. Sancho doesn't press. Pogba doesn't press. Matic doesn't really press because his job is to shuffle across. It's a tricky one to get out because you have to have players around luxuries that work twice as hard to make up for the not lack of effort, but lack of pressing, whatever. That's where I think Lingard is. That's why I think Lingard didn't get sold. That's why I think Lingard is an important player for us.
No, I'm telling you, the Lingard Ronaldo. If we play Lingard and Ronaldo starting games, we're winning any game. I'm telling you, that combination that is the perfect duo. One person works hard for the other.
Yeah, and I think that's why. Look, I said in the summer Lingard needs to leave. Didn't say that because I don't like him and I wanted him to go. I said it because I didn't think he'd get game time. Because I didn't foresee this. But now I've seen them play together and I've seen what Lingard does for the team when Ronaldo was there and when Sancho was there. I can see what he's in the team for, and I like his role. Don't want him to start every match because we have better quality players, but he's very, very important to what we need to accomplish this season, and it will help us massively. I see him almost as like a Ji-Sung Park. I see him almost as not like a Darren Fletcher because he's not a central midfielder, but in terms of that type of player and that personality in the dressing room, the energy and selflessness that he brings to the team, I think is going to be vital because you have a lot of egos in that team. Jesse Lingard is a popular person, big social person, but he's selfless.
Yeah, he's not really an ego. I feel like Greenwood's developing an ego. It appears that way.
See, I don't think he is. I don't think he's doing anything different. It's just that Ronaldo's there. I, as a fan, I know you as a fan, maybe subconsciously, maybe you don't realize, but you just want to see Ronaldo shooting because it's Ronaldo. Greenwood's shooting from the same positions. He's doing exactly the same as he was. I just think maybe he's not used to playing with someone that is
because Greenwood has been the best striker and finisher in our club.
Yeah,
for the past 2 seasons. So, but now everyone has to adapt their game. Everyone needs to adapt, not necessarily change, but just adapt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll take time. We saw that one. It can work.
You see, look, I think it can work, but I just don't think I want to see Oli switch it up again because it will take too long to get established.
Post Pogba era, Matic would get overrun in the middle. Pogba was shocking in the pivot.
That's why if I play Matic, I don't have him sharing the role with Pogba.
You have him
by himself because he's done it his whole career. That he's the specialist. And with Fernandes and Pogba, almost in like the same level, not like this or like that, but the same level. I think with Matic just below, I think that works better instead of him having to half his job responsibility with Pogba. I think he's able to handle it himself.
Well, this is what Fred was meant to be.
Yeah.
But he isn't.
Yeah, it's John McGinn. You said that name before, Big Ron. I can't do John McGinn. Can't. See, this is what I hate about fans of Ronaldo. Overall, yes, he may be one of the best, if not the best, but it does not mean as an excuse not to put a hard challenge. But the thing is, I'm not a Ronaldo fanboy. I'll say that now. If I was a fanboy of anyone, it would be Messi. I like Messi. I prefer Messi. But Ronaldo's never, ever, ever been a player that flies into challenges. He's never been a player that puts on the press for 90 minutes. So to suddenly expect him to do that now at 36 years old, it's naive. It's silly in a way because why is he going to change his game of the last?
He's never done it. He's never been like that.
And look at where it's got him. Do you see? You can't bring Ronaldo into that team this late on in his career. Maybe if it was 23, you could be like, look, Chris, you're gonna have to, put more of a press on. You're gonna have to do this and that. But you're 36. You're the all-time leading goal scorer in pretty much everything. That's not what he's gonna do, and people know that. Oli will know that. Ronaldo knows that. His teammates will know that. That means his teammates will know that they have to put in an extra shift. They have to. Maybe Fernandes might have to initiate the press because Fernandes isn't a midfielder. He's a forward. Let's be real. He plays as second striker, just behind the striker, whoever it is, Cavani, Ronaldo, Greenwood, Rashford, whatever. Whoever's there, Fernandes is right there holding his hand. He will drop deep and get up, but majority of the time, he is as far forward as he's legally able to go in terms of his job role. Ronaldo is not going to do the press. Someone else has to initiate the press. Ronaldo is there to link up the play, hold the ball up, and be on the end of stuff and score 40 goals a season. That's what Ronaldo's there for.
Yeah, that's the thing, because people are saying, he should be putting in a challenge, but to compensate for not doing that stuff, he will get you the goals.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He will. It's not like Martial, he doesn't press, he doesn't do that. But with Martial, he's not. We know he's probably not necessarily going to get the goal. With Ronaldo, you actually know he needs one chance and he'll get the goal. Villarreal proved that. One chance, goal. He's done that throughout his career. Greenwood is doing what he has always done yet. Greenwood also has to put in, some good crosses, yeah.
You see, I saw this comment. Matic obviously isn't going to cover one line to the other. No one can do that. Maybe Kante can do that, but nobody's going to do that. You have the fullbacks, you have the centre backs, you have Bruno and Pogba. What Matic is going to do is cover the centre of the pitch. When we have the ball, I'm going to share my screen again. This is another. Oh, is that clear?
Yeah.
When we have the ball, this is another picture off Twitter, by the way. This is McTominay and this is Fred. Varane has the ball here. If Matic is there, Wan-Bissaka's further up. The other centre-back is further up. Luke Shaw's probably a little bit further up. And Matic is in this area here. Because, look, this is a match against Aston Villa. They're able to press so high because McTominay and Fred, who should really be looking for the ball, but they're not, they're dropping so deep, which enables the opposition to push so high. And that's why either the ball goes long or the ball goes wide and then it goes back, or it goes wide and then it goes long. Put Matic in there, everyone's further up, and Matic is in this position, and he's comfortable enough, even if it's just a 1-2, or even if it's just get the ball and turn out and pass it there. A lot of people ask, what's the point? You might as well just pass it direct, or instead of passing it like this, then it goes back, then like this. It creates space. Matic gets the ball there and he passes it out there. All of these players maybe shuffle across 5 to 10 yards. Then you might want to switch it to Wan-Bissaka, who has the freedom of this whole side of the pitch. And it just works all the way around. Having McTominay and Fred in there doing this all the time is pointless. Because as the circles indicate, this is where they should be. And this is where Matic would be. And yeah, big Ron's comment just coming in there. We don't know how to play it from the back. Varane knows how to play it from the back. Maguire knows how to play it from the back. The fullbacks know how to play it from the back, but these two don't. It's these two which cause the issues that we have at playing at the back. It's these two. Put Matic in there. Oh, now I can see it. Now I can show you. As Ron was saying, that he can't cover the entire width of the pitch. Matic would cover this area here. You have Varane and Wan-Bissaka who can cover this area here. Same for Luke Shaw and Maguire on the other side. And Pogba, who can cover this area here. And Fernandes, who can cover this area here. Then obviously, then you have the three up front who can do the press. Or if we get the ball, imagine Matic won the ball here in this area here. Wan-Bissaka's gone. Varane's probably 5 yards behind or to the side of him. But then you have all of these players. Fred and McTominay win the ball here. It goes back. Teams press. Because when it goes back, they go back. Teams press. Then there's a massive gap. We lump the ball forward, can't hold it up. And that's why we get put under pressure so much. And that's why you have all those counterattacks and whatnot. There's a other picture that was showing what I was just saying.
Yeah. So yeah, if we go on to people was talking about McGinn.
Yeah, names from abroad are exotic. I know they're exotic, and it's. I can't say that I'm not guilty of this, but if you sign someone from Brighton, let me not say Brighton because I just thought of Bissouma. If you signed someone like, think of an English player, Calvin Phillips, compared to if you signed Frank Kessie, you're going to be more excited for Frank Kessie because he's from AC Milan, because he's Ivorian, because he is exotic. You're going to be more excited than if you sign Calvin Phillips. I still think Kessie's better, but Calvin Phillips might be better for a team. Might not be Manchester United, but he might be better for you. So I understand that. But looking at McGinn, I've watched him in the Premier League for how many years now? 2 or maybe 3. We were linked with him, but I just never was like. I think he's good, but I don't think he's Manchester United good. I think he's top
Man United
good.
quality.
But Højbjerg was the same. I want him now, but when he went to Tottenham, I was like, oh, yeah, maybe he might do it right there. He probably won't be good enough for Manchester United, but I think he'd be perfect for Manchester United. I think he's developed his game massively at Tottenham. A player like that would be amazing, but I do get what you're saying, Big Ron. I understand that.
To be fair, Messi's always expected to put in a challenge when he barely ever does.
No, Messi. Be careful what you say about Messi, though. Not because I'm a fanboy, but because Messi's what's the word? Tenacious. He puts in a lot. He's a tenacious player. Watch him play. He's always getting the ball back. He fights for that ball. Can't knock him off the ball. He fights for it. He's been doing that from when he was. There's videos of him when he was 5 years old doing it. That's just ingrained in him.
Deepanshu asks which players should be signed in the upcoming transfer window. I think any United player, any United fan in general is going to say we need to sort out the midfield. We need a defensive midfield player. Bissouma. Who else? Who else is going to be on the list? Bissouma.
I don't want to say Frank Kessie because we've literally. I mean, if we
I don't
weren't
want to
linked
say
with
him,
him,
no.
If the reports from 2 days ago didn't come, then no one would be saying Kessie. So I'm not going to say Kessie. I think it would have to be Bissouma because he would do what Matic does, but I think to an equal level or better. He's got the energy, he's got the stamina, he's got the youth. He's 25, I think. He's got the legs and he's got the confidence and quality on the ball that our current players don't have. I had another Calvin Phillips. We won't sign him.
Yeah, Leeds.
But he would be good. Look, we were linked with Harry Winks. He would even be better at this point.
I don't want to see that guy. Ronaldo will not press. To be honest, he never went past the halfway line in Old Trafford in old days. Yeah, Rooney did a lot of running for him. Yeah. Don't have to play out from the back. I disagree. Even when Fred are not playing, we are poor playing out from the back. Villarreal game, West Ham in the Carabao Cup.
See, look, Fred, look. Oh, you said McFred. Fred, we said this on the show a while back. Fred can drop a 1 out of 10, a stinker in the Premier League, but put him in the Champions League game, he's probably going to drop an 8.5. It's the Brazilians. Sir Alex Ferguson said it. They're always up for the big games. That's why he brought an Anderson in the 2008 penalty shootout, because he's Brazilian. That's what they live off that. They thrive off that. Fred is always good in Europe. You got to give credit where credit's due, but in the Premier League, man, I just can't do it. I can't support them at Fred.
So we kind of alluded to this already, the team shape, formation, stuff like that. We're saying, obviously, playing over one, holding Matic and Pogba, Bruno, Rashford, Sancho, and Ronaldo. Idris is still saying he really wants Mandzukic. Yeah, in terms of team shape, there's not much. I mean, as we said, Ollie just sticks with McFred, having a 2 in midfield because he feels that's the strongest. He's mentioned desire, stuff like that in his interview. That interview was very brave of him because he was literally sticking by what he wants, and media outlets, pundits, everyone was questioning why he's choosing McFred all the time. But he literally said it, that that's what he wants. And he was saying stuff how, look at the games we've won or that we haven't lost with McFred in midfield. So that's obviously all on Ollie, and we're seeing what we're seeing right now. He's a Chelsea fan. Let's go on to the next one. This is the big one. This is what everyone talks about: patterns of play. Firstly, what are the patterns of play? And are they the patterns of play that are always being used? If we look at City, Liverpool, they have their pattern of play, and it's repetitive. City will not stop doing the same patterns of play. They won't stop. You know what they're going to do. They're going to get out wide, overload the wings, and get the ball in the box and score. They'll keep repeating that pattern of play.
I think City's pattern of play is simple. It's triangles. Yeah. It's triangles. They kill people with possession. Quick 1-2 touch football. You cannot get near them. Compare that to us. It's slow 4-5 touch football. You can get near us. The quicker you give the ball to someone, the more time they have, which is why it looks like they have more space. Manchester City get the ball outside your box. There's instantly 3 or 4 players there, and they don't take any more than 3 touches on the ball, and they have to release it. They have to release it quick to give the teammate as much time as possible on the ball. We have the ball on the edge of the box. It's one ball roll there, ball roll back to the same place, look up. Who am I going to pass it to? 4 or 5 touches later, I'm going to pass it there. Then I'm going to get the ball back, and it's just across. He goes from one side of the pitch to the other, one side of the pitch to the other, and there's no incisive pass unless it's for Bruno Fernandes, who's brave enough or has the quality to make that pass or see the pass. Actually, maybe people don't even see it, but it's what. Yeah, City and Pep are next level, levels above their peers, as Big Ron just said. They bought a manager. They bought in a manager who's been managing like that his whole career. He played at Barcelona. We would have learned from Johan Cruyff. Like he would just have that mindset, and he was able to bring it into a managerial position. But then he went to Manchester City with players like David Silva, Aguero, Sterling. Now he has Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. He has all of these players who can actually incorporate his style of play into the football game to a high enough level, which it's effective and nobody can do anything about it to an extent. That's what we don't have. We don't have that style of play. Our style of play is...
I tried to draw it on here. I don't know if it makes any sense. Just the halfway line. Let's say the ball is here. If we have the ball on the wing here, instead of delivering it into the box, we're going to go back here to the right back. Right back is going to look for McTominay. McTominay might try to do it first time across into the box, but it'll go back to McTominay here. Then he's going to recycle it back to the other side. He'll go to this wing. Yep. Luke Shaw. He's either going to try to look for Bruno here, or he's going to play it down line. might overlap. Oh, okay, it's not worked. Go back out here, and we're back. Now we're back to Harry Maguire and Varane, and it's back to the other side. So yeah, we can say we have a pattern of play, and we can say it's repetitive, but it's not a good it's not a good pattern of play.
It's not effective.
It's not effective. It's not quick enough. It's too slow. We brought in players who are capable of playing fast football. Van der Beek, Sancho, Pogba, Ronaldo,
Ronaldo.
Bruno, all capable of playing 1 and 2 touch football. That is what Jadon Sancho thrives off. Playing it fast, round players, 1-2. You saw glimpses of that in the Everton game when Sancho came onto the pitch with Ronaldo. And that's what we need to do all over the pitch, not just in certain areas, but in midfield, on the wing, everywhere. We need to be doing it across the pitch. And that way, if we can master that, there's no doubts that we will create more chances, especially with the creative players that we have in our team.
Look, every team needs a balance. As you were just saying about Sancho there, when he was at Dortmund, they obviously play a different style of football to us. It's almost like a Liverpool style of play, very, very fast, quick on the ball. You're going to kill teams on the break, especially. And you're going to put the further it's like the whole team goes up as a unit and they're like, this is just awkward. This is the front line, Haaland up front, and this is the defense. Our team, the strikers might go like this, create a massive gap, and the defenders will come up a little bit. With Dortmund, the whole team goes up, and eventually it's like that. It's very compressed, very quick football. Especially when they're on the break as well, you have Sancho on the break, running with the ball. He breaks up 20, 30 yards. Give it in, then he gets it back straight away. But what that 1-2 does is drag someone out of position, and Jadon Sancho has more space. Same with Haaland, same with everyone. Manchester United don't do that yet. And I say yet because you have players like Bruno, Pogba, Rashford, Sancho, Ronaldo. These players are all capable of doing that. And that's why against Villarreal, we didn't play well, but we played a 4-3-3. And Scott McTominay was the holding midfielder. Maybe that was a result of him being better suited because maybe Carrick and McKenna might think he's better as a sole CDM. But whatever the case of that is, I think we're moving towards the style of football that suits our players better. And when Sancho came on, I think you did see glimpses of it, and I think it's foreshadowing something. Hopefully, because when Rashford comes back, as I said, you need a balance. You can't have everyone on the pitch that can only play that type of way. You got to have some sort of some explosive. Oh, mate, bail us out. Let me just dribble past 4 players and make up 80 yards in 3 seconds because I'm the fastest. You need some of that, you know. And
I mean, this is why I'm Ollie out, but then at the same time, I understand why you and many other Man United fans are still Ollie in, because we know with the players we have, it's going to take time for it all to come together. But I'm Ollie out, not just based on now. I'm basing it off everything from the past. But then surely people are going to say to me, surely that makes you Ollie in because you've seen from where you've been to where you are now. But at the same time, I've seen the same problems. Yes, we've got more players, better players, things like that. But I've still seen the same problems occurring. So that's why I'm still Ollie out, because I've been seeing the same thing. But at the same time, someone else might see in a different way how we've progressed to where we are now, and progress still needs to be made. Once it all clicks, it'll be perfect. But yeah, I just don't see it right now, and all I can do is just hope that it will eventually click. And the manager, I don't know if he's capable of making it click. I haven't seen any evidence thus far to suggest that he is the man that can manage players like this. Before we actually get onto like man management, talking about, and we did mention intensity. We did already mention that game understanding. Solskjaer, does he understand the game?
He does. He obviously does.
He does, and he doesn't, because substitutions, again, doesn't make sense. Team lineups. We can all of us as fans can say he hasn't picked the right team. But at the same time, he has a sports scientist, everything like that, advising him on things. He speaks to players, he has meetings with players, he finds out X, Y, Z. So we can sit here and say Ronaldo should have started, Sancho should have started, Matic should have started. But at the same time, we only see something else. They know what's happening in the club. We only see it from the outside and what's posted on social media. So in terms of lineups, yes, we can critique it. Yes, Ronaldo maybe should have started and just start with your best team in the Premier League. But at the same time, I do understand his point of view. But if that is his point of view, then make substitutions earlier. You can see the game is going in this direction. Why is he not making subs earlier in the game?
I don't know.
Because we've seen it far too often that he brings on players like Jesse Lingard in the Champions League. Why is he coming on so late? Yes, fortunately, Ollie's luck, he got the assist for Ronaldo's winner. But why is he coming on so late? Why are the subs being made so late into the game when we need a goal? Bring people on in the 60th minute. Don't bring them on in the 85th minute. But again, it paid off. Solskjaer, when he's questioned after the game, it paid off. So there's not even much you can say because he just has so much luck. There's so much luck.
Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The best manager in the league is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And the best manager in the league is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he's backed into a corner and he has to win. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has 2 games left to save his job, I cannot think of a better manager. Doesn't matter who you're playing, City, Liverpool, anyone, he will get the win and he will find a way. That's when we play the football. Whatever they do in training for that week of that game, that crunch game that's going to get him the sack or give him a new 2-year contract, that needs to be the training they do all the time because we play magical football. We play fast, free flow. We're playing triangles. It's beautiful to watch, and we slap teams. Like, this isn't just a 1 or 2. This is 3-5, beating Man City 2. The stuff like that, it's amazing to watch.
I just want to go to Big Ron's comment. He's saying we were cruising through the Everton game 1 up. They counter us from a corner and it's Ollie out. You're too easy on the players. Where's the noise? See, fortunately, I was at the game, and from what I saw, at first I was thinking to myself, this is definitely down to the players. I'm seeing Anthony Martial pick up the ball on the wing, and there's not really any desire to beat his man. And yes, you can say that's down to Anthony Martial. That's his job as a footballer. If he's playing left wing, beat your man, get a ball in, beat your man, get a shot off. But at the same time, where's his confidence? What he's a confidence player. We all know he's a confidence player. When he's full of confidence, he scores goals. He has hardly been playing. He obviously doesn't understand his role at the club at the moment. He's out 1 week, in 1 week. It doesn't make sense. That's obviously down to the manager. Throughout the game, it seems like players, I don't know if they're frustrated with the way they're playing, with the way we play, but it just appears like the players, they're coached into this system, this specific system. They're coached into that system and they play that way. And when you're in the crowd is getting frustrated. There's groans go circling around the stadium because this is not the football we want to see. But the players are being coached to play in this way. They can't just on the pitch change their way they play. They can't necessarily just change it because that's the way they've been coached. And yeah, I don't think it's necessarily, in some aspect, it can be down to the players, but no, this is not down to the players because this is the way we're set up. This is the way we play. I'm seeing players like Varane. I can see he wants to change something. He wants it to be different. He doesn't want to have to play the long pass. That's not his game. He wants to be able to just play 1-2s, play it forward into the centre mid's feet or the striker's feet. doesn't want to play the long ball all the time, but he's being forced to play that type of game, and I don't think that's Varane's game, for example.
It's not. It's not at all. You can see what Varane's bringing to the team. He's bringing up faster play. And that's just the first step in the right direction. But unfortunately, we have two DMs in front who aren't able to match that, the speed on the ball and be in the correct positions at the correct times. It's one step forward, two steps back all the time. Yeah, big one's right.
Yeah, because they're scared to play out of the system they're being coached to play in. Imagine you're a player like Martial, who's being sidelined. Why are you now going to play out of the way you've been told? You were in the meeting the day before. Solskjaer is telling you this, and the coaches are telling you this is how we're going to play. When it's game day and you know you're starting, you're not going to now change because you want to prove that you can play in that system so that you're starting the next game. You're not going to change just because you feel like the system's bad. That's the problem I think that could be a problem in the team. I can see it. Pogba, I feel like he is someone who doesn't. It just goes back to moments. It goes back to us being a moments football club, because there'll just be a moment of brilliance where it's a bit different to the way we've been coached, and we score a goal. Literally like the goal Jesse Lingard scored against Newcastle. Warwick goal, Van der Beek, Martial, Lingard, and Pogba were all involved. And I think that was one of the... Yes, it's Newcastle, but it was a really good game in terms of starting lineup. I think that was a really good starting lineup. That Solskjaer, McFred was still there, I think, but he still started Sancho, Ronaldo, Greenwood, and Pogba. Wait, was it Pogba and Matic? Or McTominay?
Sorry?
Against Newcastle. When Ronaldo started. Because Pogba did start, and Sancho started. So
4-1, the 4-1.
Yeah.
The lineup. Pogba, Matic, yeah.
Yeah, that was literally
Sancho.
The best team. That's the best team he's chosen. Yes, it's Newcastle, but that was the best team he chose. And then he made good subs. He brought in Lingard, Martial, Van der Beek. That is what we asked for. But since then, it hasn't been the same.
But see, why would you go away from that? What about that 4-1 win made you think, let me change it? And that's the questions that get asked of him, and that is why people question his decision making. You've just beaten Newcastle 4-1. Ronaldo comes back, everyone's loving it. Why in the next game against, I cannot remember, he was after Newcastle.
Was it Young Boys? No. Yeah, the Young Boys lost. Must have been. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was Young Boys.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go to the Premier League game because Champions League is you're always going to get changes.
Yeah, West Ham. This is when he went back to McFred. And Sancho gets dropped.
Yep. We scrape a win, which we probably shouldn't have won. Obviously, we lost in the Carling, the EFL Cup. We lost against Villa. The lineup for that, McFred. Why'd you go away? You know what? We were saying before, putting Pogba on the left seems to be his best position. We're losing a lot of games with Pogba on the left. I just think you have to put Pogba and Matic in the middle. You have
to.
As simple as it is, it's just McFred, isn't it? It's just McFred. I think it's starting to catch up with us because we were winning games with McFred last season. We have been winning games with McFred, and that's the argument that Ole has. But it does look like it's starting to catch up with us. So no players.
Yeah, the very last point we're going to go through is the man management. It's kind of what we've been talking about. The management of Van de Beek, just players on the bench in general. They don't really know when they're going to play. They don't know their roles. It's 1 week they're in, 1 week they're out. And they might be on the bench for... You might see Sancho start in the Champions League, and then in the Premier League, for the next 2 Premier League games, he's on the bench. Things like that. Just no consistency. We say he's had... People say he's dealt with the team well. People like Pogba, he's got Pogba on his side.
Yeah.
The way he manages the egos in the team, he does it well. But now he's got Ronaldo in the team. Ronaldo manages himself. I don't see Solskjaer managing that very well. We've already seen it against Everton. Ronaldo storming off the pitch, muttering to himself about, obviously he doesn't want to lose games. He wants to win games. He wants to start games. He wants to score goals.
Yeah.
And that right there is ready to start. Solskjaer now knows. I guess he had to make the mistake firstly to learn from his experiences, but obviously he now knows. Pogba on the bench. Why is Pogba on the bench? Pogba is going to leave the club. There's no doubt.
Apparently he's not going to sign a new contract.
Yeah, there's no doubt that he's going to leave. He has to leave now because Champions League game, he's taken off the pitch when he's the type of player that's going to make a difference. And then the next game, he's on the bench in the Premier League. Imagine you're Pogba. How can you deal with that? You're one of the best players in the team and you're being treated like that.
I think Ron said it earlier. We're going to have to start planning for life without Pogba. Because as you just said, why would you want to stay? Why does Pogba want to stay? When Ronaldo, Sancho, Varane come in, yeah, maybe I might want to stay because it looks like we're going in the right direction. But oh no, something's holding us back. There's a reason I wanted to leave before. And that reason has just made itself clear to me again. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if he left. Obviously, I don't want him to leave because it's Pogba. He's one of the best in the world in this position. But you should never, ever keep a player who doesn't want to be here.
It's true. But at the same time, it's still very early on in the season, 7 games in. We can lose the next, I don't know, how many games in total can you lose to still win a league?
Yeah, already looking at that.
We've only lost 1 game. Chelsea have lost 1 game. Man City have lost 1 game.
Look, we're 2 points off the top.
We're 2 points off the top. Anything can happen. Everything can click next game. Leicester away. If we win like 3-0, clicked. But it's still very early on. I'm still early out. Anton, I don't know about you. Don't know.
Almost.
You're almost, and I understand that because many United fans, we haven't been where we are in years. So it's understandable why many United fans might still be only in because of where we are at the moment in our club, the players we have, the hope he's bringing us. So, yeah, Old Trafford still sings Ollie's name.
Because he's a legend.
He's a legend. He's brought us close to where we should be. And now it's just the next step. It's whether he's the manager to take us to the next step or there's not really anyone else at the moment. So he is the guy. And I obviously wish him the best. He's my manager. So I don't know anything. What else you want to say, Anton?
I'm just going to reply to Ron's comment. You have to be professional, yeah. But he's a human. He wants to win. He's a winner. So when things aren't going the way he wants them to go, you will be naturally frustrated. And so I've always been a fan of players showing their emotions. I've always been a fan of managers showing their emotions on the pitch. I'd rather see that than seeing the straight face or a smile even when you lose. You know, I'd rather see, oh, Ronaldo's pissed. I want to see it. I don't want to see him smiling and all happy on the pitch, but he's not actually happy. But that's just the way I prefer it. Obviously, when Ronaldo stormed off the pitch, it wasn't the best. Maybe he could have done it differently, obviously, but it's Ronaldo. I've seen other players storm off the pitch, but because it's Ronaldo, it's going to obviously get highlighted. And it does add extra extra pressure on Ole's shoulders. But at this point, he has nowhere to hide anyway.
There's no hiding place for Ollie because with the team we have, the expectations are through the roof. Expectations from fans, the board obviously back him, so he hasn't got to worry about that necessarily. But the fans, the pundits, the media, so much on his shoulders right now. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode solely on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Man United. It had to be done because international break now. Perfect time to do this video. Hopefully Ole and his coaching staff will reflect on the season, 7 games played so far, how we can get the best of Ronaldo in the system, best of Pogba, just the best of the key players that are going to make a difference in this team. Rashford back, so everything is looking good. But yeah, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Yes, we shall redeem ourselves. We'll keep the faith. Thank you, Big Ron. Catch you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.